G'day fellas, welcome to one of the most exciting replays. Well, I say exciting, but it's really probably one of the most disgusting replays I have seen, probably in the definitive edition. It is absolutely disgusting. If you're not familiar with Mashed Potato 72, he's been on the channel before quite a bit, famous or almost infamous for some of the strategies. He came up with the Spanish logistician water boom, where he had those 35 Garachista lances, and in the other game he did I think it was the Aztec. The Aztec sort of turtle strategy. Anyway, he's playing the United States now. This replay is very fresh, and it's only just come into me today. I've only seen a little bit of it, so I'm very excited to see what actually happens in it. So we'll take a look and see his opponent, Prop, who we've actually casted before, playing on the Russian, spawning in the north of the map. And we'll take a look at the treasures, see what options he's got. He's got a Native American warrior as well as the 80 coin. Not a bad treasure over here, actually. Native Scout as well. Not too bad treasures, but making a little bit of an error. So always on this map, for anybody at home that's relatively new to the definitive edition or unfamiliar with this map, always want to be scouting the left side first, because that's where these llamas spawn. And ideally, you want to get as many llamas as you can before your opponent gets them. So you can see here that the Mashed Potato's got 1, 2, 3, 4 llamas on his side, and then there's sort of 3, or there's 3 on each side, and then 1 in the middle, basically. Actually, 2 in the middle. I take that back. But Prop now coming around, doing a bit of a swing, and we take a look at Mashed Potato. Mashed Potato now sending in the French immigrants. We'll take a look at his deck. A little bit of a lag. His deck name is called Potato Stew, so you know it's going to be a good deck. We've got the Spanish immigrants. Don't know if I'm a fan of that. The improved buildings, as well as some interesting cards in Age 4. So it's obviously a very turtley kind of deck. We've got improved buildings. We've got the covered wagon, 2 covered wagons in Age 4, as well as heavy fortifications. So this is going to give you all of those upgrades for free. And then there's the Russian American company, as well as advanced frontier defenses. So people might be asking, why would you include this kind of card in a deck? Delivers 3 outpost wagons and then upgrades them as well. So that upgrade is like, I think about 600 resources. So it's actually not that bad. You're basically getting 750 wood and then 600 resources. So, you know, quite a decent amount of resources there. So we see Mashed Potato now picking up, I think it was an 80 wood treasure. Yeah, picking up an 80 wood treasure. So not too bad at all for him. And now we've got Prop moving back as well, taking a couple of the llamas. It looks like he's got 1 llama so far. Sending in the distributivism. Let's take a look at his deck and see what he's up to. Very, very standard Russian deck. We don't actually see anything here out of the ordinary. This is quite literally the stock standard Russian deck. So very nice deck from Prop, doing the right thing. A couple of llamas now moving in. It looks like we've got Mashed Potato moving in to take these llamas out, but just conceding. Prop picking that up as well. And now we've got the transition period almost about to come in for each player. So probably going to be going up with the Quartermaster and Mashed Potato. I mean, typically you want to be going up with Virginia. I don't think that there's any. I think with the United States especially, that Fortress Age play is what's becoming so favorable, just because you can very safely get up to the Fortress Age with the United States. You know, before most rushes hit, you can pretty much always get your age up in queue, and then you just got to sort of wait. And then, you know, eventually you send the 3 Gatlings and do whatever it is that you need to do. But we'll take a little bit of a stock take. So we've got Mashed Potato 72 with the 4 llamas, and then we've got, how many llamas over here? We've got 2 llamas now for Prop, but Prop is looking to move out. It kind of looks like he's moving in this direction. I know it looks like he might have changed it up now. So still a couple llamas out there that haven't been found yet by either player. But we've got some villagers moving forward now. So probably going to be looking to set up a forward base here. That's 3 villagers, even though one of them does look like he's, or she is on top of each other. But forward base probably going to come down probably around here. That might be a little bit too close. So yeah, maybe go. Okay, there we go. So now going to go down on top of the scout treasure. You've got to be careful. If you build these too close to the scout treasures, they will aggro. With this... with this treasure, if you build it like right on top, actually I'm not even sure if you can build it right on top anymore, because they changed that in the most recent patch. But yes, so for anybody wondering, Mashed Potato 72, obviously we introduced him at the beginning, but he's I would say he's almost like a bit of an up and coming player. I think at the moment about 1600, maybe 1650 rating, so it seems like relatively a good amount of rating. And now sending in the Spanish immigrants behind this, so you can see definitely macroing for that Fortress Age. A whole bunch of idols though. So just as I say, around 1600, we've got a whole bunch of idols. and just deleting all llamas. So not a bad idea to be doing that. Now we've got the outpost wagon, which is kind of moving out into this forward position. Now he hasn't scouted the forward racks yet from prop, but he's got quite a bit of herding that he's doing. So he knows that, you know, what if you're playing against Russia, you pretty much know what you're going to be up against. I mean, Russia are basically, I wouldn't say a one-trick pony, but they're a one-trick pony. And then prop losing, or prop picking up a llama just here. It looked like he picked up one of Mashed Potato's llamas. And now we've got the 700 coin in queue. So the 700 coin is in queue. Going to be seeking to age up with that. So no units coming in either. So 18 out of 20 population. Probably just not even going to be looking to do anything other than just get that solid age up. But now we've got from prop. So we've got the 10 Strelets. We've got the 5 Cossacks coming in. We've got the Explorer in behind the base doing all the scouting. Hasn't really scouted too much of the hunts. I mean, we see this hunt out the front, but ideally, if you're playing Russia, you want to be scouting out your opponent's hunts just so you know exactly where to run to. Running directly under the tower, probably going to be picking up the Explorer here, which is a relatively good pickup, but now that it's just down to 45 experience, it's really not such a big bounty. Before, this Explorer would have had a huge bounty on its head, but, you know, 45 versus 100 is a massive difference. Like, you know, 45 is 10% of this shipment versus 20% at 100. So now we've got the taking a shot off the first Cossack. It looks like a villager actually going to go down despite being right underneath the town center right there. So a little bit unfortunate for Mashed Potato. Mashed Potato, we'll take a look at his perspective, see how close he's up. He's actually doesn't have the resources that he needs to get up right now. So he is probably going to get idled at this point. We take a look, we see he's gathering up the last of the coin. How much coin is in that crate? There's 50 coin in that crate, so there's enough to get him up with that, but he doesn't have enough food. And so right now, he should have his age up in queue. His age up should have been in queue 20 seconds ago, 30 seconds ago. It should have been in queue a long time ago. Let's just say that much. And he's already lost one villager. So going to be a difficult spot for him. Now also getting in that next shipment. So curious to see what he's going to send. That's his 4th shipment of the game. And what's going to happen here is... Oh, it looks like he's almost losing another villager. He's sitting on 17, so 17's not too bad, but obviously getting idled and not really doing anything with his town center. Right now, he's been idle for close to 40 seconds, finally getting that age up in queue and going up with Indiana. So for anybody unfamiliar with Indiana, it is a little bit different from the typical New Hampshire that we always see. So the New Hampshire is the factory, but Indiana is something a little bit special. So we'll talk about it once he actually ages up, but Indiana... is primarily what is considered to be underpowered at the moment. And it looks like Mashed Potato is going to be giving up his Explorer again for the 2nd time, donating another 45 XP over a little bit needlessly, but still sitting on 17 villagers, so not doing too bad, and being very cheeky, just like getting his villagers out, going over to the other side like this. I do kind of like it. This ideally should be around this side just so you can, you know, use both sides of the town center, but very, very smart. Got to be careful not to get picked off, but actually putting them in the town center without taking a single bit of damage, and now putting his villagers out on the other side. So very, very cheeky. The shipment coming through, so Virginia General Assembly is going to be the next shipment, and picking off a villager, so down to 16. So he's lost 2 villagers at this point. Virginia General Assembly is going to go up very quickly. Prop isn't going to be able to stop that. Prop is also sending behind the 700 coin. Got the stable drop down. We take a look at what he's sent from the home city. The 5 Cossacks, the 700 wood, then the 700 coin coming in now. So potentially looking to do a semi-FF. So a little bit toxic from him. But we'll see. It could also just be that he masses up Cossacks in the 2nd age. Mashed Potato needs to be a little bit careful of his villagers, but being very careful. Now some villagers moving out. Now I don't think Prop's got any line of sight on these villagers back here. I don't think he knows that they are there, but we actually see some walls coming out now from Mashed Potato. Mashed Potato looking like he's putting up like a death triangle, I guess you could call it. And it looks like a courier de bar is probably going to be going down, just literally walking into the middle of the enemy Strelets. And there's still quite a decent mass of Strelets here at this point. We've got more reinforcing units going to be coming in as well for Prop. Mashed Potato are just about to hit the age up now at 8 minutes 20, going up with Indiana. And we see if there's going to be any shipments coming in. There's nothing yet, so nothing coming in just yet. But there's more reinforcing units. This attack is by no means over. So just when he was idle before, still got 12 villagers idle. And going to be idling it up for a little bit, but now sending in advanced frontier defenses. So this is, as I mentioned before, it's going to deliver those 3 outpost wagons, and then it's going to set those up into the upgraded version, which is really expensive. Okay, it's 400 wood 200 coin. So that's a lot of resources in the early game, in the early stage, and it's kind of, when you think about it, it's actually not that bad when he's also sent the outpost from the Spanish immigrants in the early game. So losing a couple of regulars here, I don't think there's anything he can do about that. The regulars are going to be slower than the Strelets, so the Strelets are going to be putting out, have slightly more speed, but now looking to get down this wall and sending Gatlings behind this. So I think what he's going to aim to do is try and keep all of the outposts and the Gatlings in here, but he's actually sending the outposts to the other side. I guess because the units are coming in now. Looking like the outpost wagon's doing a little bit of a dance, getting caught on villages. Very bad timing, unfortunately, for that. You need every second that you can get with these, but we have a look how quickly these things go up. They go up very quickly, and there's 3 of them as well. Now, these are the upgraded outposts. They're doing 45 damage each. Minutemen also getting called from the home city. The Explorer coming up. And villagers now getting into the town center. Looks like he's actually lost a couple of villagers. We see 1 villager body on the ground. So down to 13 villagers. So losing a total of about 5 villagers at this point. Could have potentially lost more if he retrained them. I'm not exactly sure. But going to get all 3 of these frontier outposts up. And it means that this is... I don't even know how you break this as Age 2 Russia. I don't think you can break this safely. And we've now got the Gatling guns popping out. And I think at this point, you can definitely say Mashed Potato has put the gravy on top of Prop. Let's say it like that. Let's give him that much. But I guess one of the primary issues, though, is Mashed Potato's lost a lot of villagers. So at this point, the question's going to be not really whether he can survive here. It's going to be whether he can survive the next wave. Because the next wave that's going to come, it's probably going to be Fortress Age, and it's probably going to be Falconet. So we'll take a look back. Before we do that, though, we're going to have a look at what he's sending in. So he's sending in the Indiana Mammoth Improvement Act. Actually, no, he's not. He's sending in 1 covered wagon. So going up with Indiana, it gives you 2 different options from the standard factory that you guys would be used to seeing with the United States. Indiana Mammoth Improvement Act. Advancing to the next age is much cheaper, but takes significantly longer. So it enables you to age up for free to the industrial age, but it takes 350 seconds. So, you know, that's a considerable amount of time. I think it works out to be about 7 minutes, maybe 6 minutes 50. A significant amount of time. And now we've got some more walls coming out from Mashed Potato. So just when you thought that the semi-FF was toxic, Mashed Potato comes out and says, you know what, I can wall. This map in particular is quite good for walling, just because of all these little choke points that we've got. We've got little choke points over here, little choke points to the north. We've got choke points all along this map. They're just absolutely everywhere. So very dangerous. Now the covered wagon coming out. Now keep in mind with the covered wagon, that the covered wagon is going to increase the build limit as well. Of your TCs. So instead of having 3 TCs max, you're going to have 4 TCs max. And you can use this in combination with things like Culpepper Minutemen. So Culpepper Minutemen arrives fast. So instead of it being a 40-second shipment, it's a 5-second shipment. And it's going to spawn 6 Minutemen for each town center. So instead of getting 18 Minutemen from your 3 town centers, you get 24 Minutemen from your town centers. So that's one thing to consider. We'll take a look over at Prop. We'll see what Prop is up to. Prop has got an age up in queue, going up with the Exiled Prince, undoubtedly. 35 villagers. If we do a bit of a stock take, we see that Mashed Potato is on 14 villagers at this point. So, look, if you were going to say, if I was going to pick, like, which guy would I rather be at this point, I would definitely rather be Prop. Prop has done a wonderful job at sort of idling the economy of Mashed Potato. He's taken out, you know, more than a handful of villagers. But nonetheless, we still see Mashed Potato sticking his head in the game, saying, I'm not giving up, I'm never surrendering. And I like that from the guy. I like that. You know, Mashed Potato in the past has been responsible for, I'll say, a little bit more of the toxic strategies. And it definitely looks like he's going to be achieving something very similar with that. The way that the walls are positioned, so we can see that the way that, like, he's sort of crisscrossed them here makes me think he's just going to be doing it, like, on the entire map. Like, you could literally just wall up everything along here and just slowly kind of push. And I really wouldn't be surprised to see that coming out of Mashed Potato, something like that. We've got a native scout down in the corner here. And now the push does begin. I mentioned the Falconets earlier. We've now got the 2 Falconets that are coming out for Prop. Prop is going to be pushing in. We'll take a look at his perspective and see what he sees. So the first frontier outpost going to be sieged down, targeted down, and he's going to be careful with his units here, because moving his units underneath here, well, he's going to expose himself to Gatling guns, as well as exposing himself to town center fire and to other frontier outposts. There are 3 frontier outposts down here along the south side, and there's no other way for him to really come into this, because if he wants to end this game, like, obviously he can gain map control over on this left-hand side, but there's nothing over here. He's got his Explorer sitting there, you know, as it is. If he goes and tries to come up here, well, it's going to be a little bit slow to siege. So he's just kind of coming for the throat, but at the same time, look at all this base defense that's sitting up here. So we've got the outposts again. Now keep in mind, not only do these outposts have increased attack, but they've also got a 1.5 bonus against cavalry as well. And we've got the first falconet now going down, and a Gatling gun also going down at the same time. And Mashed Potato just being so cheeky, moving back with his Gatling guns just behind the wall, just enough that the Strelets can't actually shoot, bringing that that falconet into line of, or not into line of sight, but into range of the Frontier outpost. And the Frontier outpost is going to begin opening fire on it. Down to 585 health. We'll take a look from the perspective of Mashed Potato. We'll see what he's doing behind. And now we've got a new card that's been sent. He's sending the blockhouse wagons from the home city. So this is the Russia-American company that has come in. So that's his next choice of cards. We've got the Gatling gun just sitting on the back here. It looks like he's going to be close to taking out this falconet for whatever reason. The first Gatling was firing. The second Gatling was doing a little bit of a buggy dance. But now moving out with the blockhouses. So he's going to have 3 military production buildings. We take a look. He did indeed send the Russian-American company from the home city. And now we've got a couple more villages moving forward. Mashed Potato, you got to be so careful. I think, are they trying to wall or something? Oh, they're trying to get over here. See, this is the great thing about the definitive edition, okay? These coureur de bois, or these units, they got stuck around here, and instead of deciding to walk through this gate and then walk through this gate and walk through this gate, they just decided we're gonna walk all the way around here and then back over here. I don't know how the routing works on that and how that possibly was made as a decision, but I guess that's the consequence of walling like this, is that you are going to sort of deal with the AI in what's the word, in subpar ways, and that's exactly what happened. So now we've got this town center being burnt down very slowly. It's lost 400 HP already. Prop is doing quite a good job of just keeping the attention of Mashed Potato busy. We can see him moving the Gatling guns over. He's got to be careful though, because if he moves his Gatling guns too close, the Strelets could very easily come in here and take the shot. We've got the Gatling guns now opening fire on the sieging Cossacks. We don't have veterancy yet for the Cossacks. We'll take a look and see if we've got it in queue. We've got veteran Cossacks coming up in queue. He's got to be careful with his Gatling guns, because the Gatling guns are going to be losing out to that falconet, even though it's only got 16 HP. Maybe I take that back. 16 HP is not a lot of HP. And they've still got full attack or full HP on them, the Gatling guns. Gatling guns now moving into a wonderful position. It looks kind of like Prop was trying to get trying to get a bit of a flank right here, but just wasn't really successful with it because, well, there's a giant fucking cliff there, Prop. I'm not sure if you can see that, mate. The Gatling guns now getting off some more shots, and just really, at this point, Mashed Potato is just being absolutely... I feel like I say disgusting a lot when I'm watching Mashed Potato, and it really feels that way. Mashed Potato is just... He's not doing the best, but he's got to be careful right now, because this wall's down to less than 700 hit points. He's got the Gatling guns that are sitting right here. He needs to be careful, because if he's... Like, the Gatling guns are going to be moving out, but now Mashed Potato laying down a wall and laying down a town center. Mashed Potato going for quick walls. Mashed Potato is literally pulling out the Mitre quick wall. He actually built this wall as well. So these are 2 different walls, and he's built them and blocked in the Cossacks here. Mashed Potato just doing absolute fucking work and losing that settler now on the front line. He's down to 21 settlers, his opponent on 47, and now those Gatlings still firing off, putting some gates in. We see the first gate going down. He moves the Gatlings back. The Gatlings are going to pull back to safety, and he is just... This is... People say the semi-FF is toxic. This is toxic. What do you even do against this? Like, how do you push into this? This is... Mashed Potato. I feel like you got to go to age 4. You got to get mortars. Like, what do you do? Like, you have to get... So speaking of age 4, we've now got age 4 coming in. We've got South Carolina coming in for Mashed Potato. Now, keep in mind, Mashed Potato is going up with Indiana Mammoth Improvement Act. So this is going to be up for free, but it's going to take him longer to do that. So amongst all of that, Mashed Potato still managed to find the APM to do a little bit of aging up as well. And despite that, 4 town centers, by the way. So keep in mind, if things ever really go awry for him, he can always just call Culpeper Minutemen. And Culpeper Minutemen is basically, you know, a reinforcing batch of 24 veteran musketeers. Like, they are beefy boys. They are absolutely beefy boys. And so we've got going up with the South Carolina. South Carolina is going to enable him to have access to a couple of key shipments. So the first one is going to be the Maltese Militia. Maltese Militia is quite good at buffing up your state militia, but something tells me that Mashed Potato isn't making a lot of state militia. Looks like he's only going to be really making the outpost wagons. And then we take a look at his the second card that he's going to be getting is going to be Marion's Diversions, which is going to enable him to train Quaker guns. And Quaker guns are units that can take the form of any artillery piece. They fire, they move, but they don't do any damage. They do not do any damage at all. And so that's essentially what he's going to have access to. And now sending in improved buildings as well. So improved buildings going to increase his building hit point by 40%. Pushing out with 3 Falconets, Prop is now. We take a look at Prop, we see what he's up to. He's still got that 1 town center down, so we're at 18 minutes now. I would like to see him potentially sending in that 1,000 wood, dropping down a 2nd town center at the very minimum. Would be quite reasonable in seeing him reach that economic burden. And we've now got a 6k score lead for Prop. And a little bit of a difficult spot because there's 4 Falconets now. And I don't know how you really beat 4 Falconets with towers and town centers. A fair bit of... He's got the blockhouse up. How many towers does he actually have? He's got 3 towers and he's got 2 blockhouses. So he can build a total of 9, I think it is, because he's got the blockhouses sent. It technically gives you like a +2 that you can build. But we've got the Gatling guns just sitting here on the outside, just being a little bit cheeky, just getting off some shots. This town center going to go down, but keep in mind, I think he's got Oregon Trail researched. I'm not 100% sure. We'll have to check the cost, but just from the way he's been playing and like the fact that he's got the frontier outposts up, actually, can we check? No, it won't say there. And so this town center is not really worth 500 wood. This town center is worth a lot less than 500 wood. I think it works out to be about 375. To be exact, 375. And now this blockhouse also going to be going down. The blockhouse, I think the cost of the blockhouse is about 187 wood. So this is all delaying tactics. I think Mashed Potato's sort of going for here before he hits his critical mass, undoubtedly. And now popping down more walls as well. Mashed Potato just being absolutely mashed disgusting at this point. So more walls coming down now. Sitting in here with his Gatling guns. Can you imagine just like an extra couple Gatling guns? How effective they would be. Looks like he's actually not going to lose any villagers, despite 3 Cossacks sneaking through. Oh, I say that, but just as I do that, one of them swings. And if that villager had actually just turned around, it would have been a different story. Now these Gatling guns are continuing, and we actually have a Culverin in queue. So Culverin is what's going to be the answer here for Mashed Potato. Mashed Potato is going to be able to take out, going to be able to nullify Prop's Falconets. But we see the Gatling guns still sitting here, just laying down constant fire. This whole time, they've just been popping off. And the thing is, Prop knows that they are there, and he can just see them, but you can't touch them because they're so quick. Every single time, Mashed Potato is just going to move back. He's just going to keep on, moving it back. He's going to re-wall up like this, toxic walls. You thought semi-FF was toxic. Well, you're proven wrong because now the Culverin are out. The Culverin are what's going to do it here. So the first Falconet now going down for Prop. Prop's got 3 Falconets total. 1 more. This is definitely going to be going down because we've got a lock on here. There it goes. The second Falconet's down. So now down to 2 Falconets. Still got quite a significant military mass here. 25 Strelets as well as 8 veteran Cossacks. And there's some more Gatlings over to the right-hand side. Now, Prop kind of looking towards a macroing towards age 3. Doing a really good job of training settlers. So at 62 settlers at the moment. So quite a decent economy despite the fact he's only on 1 town center. Russians are quite good at doing that sort of mid-game boom, even if it's only off the 1 town center. Almost on the way up. South Carolina, it's a very, very slow age up, but I can imagine that Mashed Potato is feeling a little bit slower than normal. And now we see the covered wagon. Yeah, well, so we can see the cost of the covered wagon. It was 375 wood. So it has that Oregon Trail. Instead of having the most common one, which sort of gives you that age up speed, he's gone for the Oregon Trail, which kind of makes sense if you're doing this sort of turtling strategy, because it's going to reduce the cost of everything. So now we've got more Cossacks coming in, Cossacks as well as a Falconet, and the Gatling guns are moving over to sort of protect the town center. It looks like this town center is probably going to be going down, and now we've got outpost wagons going to come in behind it. Oh my god, this is... Okay. I think this town center probably will go down just because of the Falconet on the back line here, but it's not really that much of a big deal because his Mashed Potato is going to be very easily able to just replace this. We take a look. Does it go down? It does go down. 137 XP over to Prop. And we've got a Gatling gun now in queue. We take a look at Prop's perspective, see what he's up to. Prop is sending in cords of 1,000 wood and also going to be aging up, macroing quite well for it. Now going up with the Engineer. Engineer going to be providing him 2 additional Falconets, and he's already got quite a decent mass of Falconets as well. Llama over here on the back line for Prop. I don't know why he's just not sort of... if I was Prop, I'd just be putting it over in the corner and just delete it, because otherwise you're just going to lose it. It's almost guaranteed to have been gone. We'll take a look back at Mashed Potato, see what he's up to. Training Gatling guns now. Economy slowly getting up there. He's up to 36 villages now, and compare that to the 65 of his opponent. So he's about halfway down. Now, keep in mind, he doesn't actually have a factory. If he had just gone up with the standard South Carolina, he would be sitting here with a factory this entire time. But he doesn't. He's got Indiana Mammoth Improvement Act, and he's going up to age 4. So sort of using that as a bit of leverage instead. Now dropping down at his 4th town center. Once again, for what is this, like the 5th time in the game, also re-walling up as well. Now keep in mind, these walls have got the improved building upgrade. So all of his buildings have got it. So these have got 9,000 walls, or 9,000 health on all of the 7,000 on these bad boys, 2,800 on Frontier Outpost. So really quite a lot of HP, and just like this flag is going to improve the building time for all of these infrastructure. But you know, what I would love to see him do, I'd love to see sort of like a Minutemen push or something out of that, because he's going to be age 4. Keep in mind, he's actually got the 2 covered wagons that he can be sending from the home city. The 2 covered wagons going to enable him to send to leverage those Minutemen even more. So he's got like 4. You can make that into 6. He is going up with South Carolina. If he went up with, is it California? He could even get 7. So 7 would be possible. So that's something to think about. We'll take a look back over at Prop's perspective. Prop is about to age up now. He's got 2 culverins out. There's those 3 falconets now that have come out. Building a few cavalry archers as well. No 2nd TC just yet, except for this one right here. So the 2nd TC moving to take over the right-hand side. So quite honestly, if I was Mashed Potato, this is where I would have gone. Because you need to think about it from the perspective, like, okay, where's the Russian player going to come from? What's he going to do? Well, it can only really come from these choke points, okay? And it's a Russian player, so you've got to really appreciate that they may have Opronix coming in at any second. So you could just put all of your towers along here, wall this up, wall this up, wall this up, and just sort of like camp yourself in this little island and do what you want. But we've now got heavy fortifications coming in. This is going to be hilarious. Okay, his score is going to jump by a mile. Speaking of score, he's down 10,000 points at this point. So curious to see if this is actually going to bring him up ahead into the lead, or what's going to be happening with him. Outposts now going down as well. And there it comes in. So we take a look at the score. Up to 23,000. So really not a big difference. Like, okay, you're still down by 4,000 points, Mashed Potato. But obviously we've got pretty big upgrades. So Fortified Blockhouse has got 3,800 hit points. The walls have got more than 5,000 hit points. Town centers 5,000 hit points. No forts from Mashed Potato though. Interestingly, so typically we do see United States players going for those forts, especially with cards that have sort of buffing them up, like the improved buildings, as well as heavy fortifications. So curious to see that there's no fort. But we've now got mortars coming out, and mortars are definitely the answer to this. So mortars are going to be able to deal with this quite effectively. I think at this stage, Prop is significantly ahead. He's got the factories coming in. Has he sent in the second one? Not yet. Second one not coming in just yet. This is only the first one. Looks like Mashed Potato are going to be losing another villager. So we've got 68 villager playing up against 49 villagers. So managing to close the gap. And now we've got state constitutions coming in. This is going to be improving the health of these buildings once again. So now going up to 4,300 health. So Mashed Potato really, you know, utilizing the strengths of the United States and of their lame ability. But keep in mind, he's on 73. He's on 73 population versus his opponent, who's on 149 population at the moment. And all he's got are sort of outposts, Gatling guns, and like Culverin. He's got 3 Culverin, so just training some more Culverin now, and 3 Gatling guns. That's literally it. He's taking on his opponent with only artillery. Sorry. I'd love to see some more walls out of him, more proactive walls. So even just like start walling over here. Just do these sort of like random walls, just because when Opronix do eventually come in, we've actually got walls down here to the south. When Opronix do come in, they're going to be targeting things like this, and it's going to be very easy for them to get through. It looks almost a little bit hard for him to get through into this position. I'm not sure if you guys can see, but it looks like, yeah, so he's actually commanded his stuff to come over here, and they've walked around that way, so they could have been taken out very easily by these calves if his opponent was paying attention, but it doesn't seem that way. Now got a whole bunch of villagers in queue. Holy shit. So a huge amount of villagers in queue, and just continuing to drop down outposts behind this. These outposts are 4,300 hit points, and they go up instantly. Well, I say instantly, but I mean, they take a while. I think I'd be curious to know what it is. It must be about 15 seconds that they go up in. We could probably even time it. And look at this, just training more and more outpost wagons now. So, you know, technically he's moving forward very, very slightly, but not really a lot. And these are really cheap outpost wagons. These outpost wagons, I think they're 187 would. So it's not like he's really losing a lot out of this. He's just delaying his opponent, sort of achieving the goals that he wants to. I really don't know what that is at this point, because watching this, it's just like, you know, his opponent, I don't know what his opponent is thinking, or what his opponent is planning to do. He's got 80 villagers out, and now we've got the Opronix coming out, so Mashed Potato losing a couple of villagers over on this eastern flank, sending in his second factory as well. So we take a look at the home city, we see what else he's got access to. Nothing else that he's really sent through yet. Got a lot of upgrades in here, actually. He's got those, the Chapka Ulans as well from Pulaski's Legion. Always a good shipment to send in. And the Opronix are just sort of idling at the moment. The push continues with the howitzer. And nonetheless, so it looks like we might have actually had the Culverins moving up to take out some of the artillery. I can't see if any of the artillery... I think some of the artillery from Prop might have actually been taken out there from these Culverin, and now the Cav Archers were sort of moving in to chase it, but now the Gatling Guns are there and sort of to respond. The Gatling Guns actually do very well against Cavalry Archers just because of the way that they bunch up. And especially against things like Reuters, they're going to do very, very well. And so I guess this is one of the difficult things, is how do you deal with this? Because if your opponent is just going to come out and be very cheeky, if we take a look at the range on the Culverin, we could see he could bring this Culverin up to like here, just snipe these out, and then just come back in. It's very, very easy for him to do that. So I'm curious as to, you know, what the best way to deal with it. Now, the second town center going down. Now he's going to begin shelling down the forts, but now we see him moving over to the right-hand side. So fortified outpost going up over on the right-hand side. Those Opronix are running up to the north. Looks like Mashed Potato now putting down a couple of walls as well, calling tertios from the home city, because he had the Spanish from the very beginning. Remember, he sent the Spanish immigrants in, so he's able to call those tertios. And we see a whole bunch of cavalry archers going down now to the Gatling guns. So 7 Gatling guns. These aren't upgraded Gatling guns, but it looks like we've actually got heavy Gatling guns coming in. I was going to call them Rebuilds, but Rebuilds are the name of the Portuguese organ guns. Let's have a look and watch how many of these units manage to go down. Only getting 2. With all of these organ guns, you would think that there'd be a lot more units going down than that. It really didn't look as impressive as I was hoping. You know, against Strelitz as well. That's exactly what I'd be hoping. But now we've got the Tertio moving over onto the right-hand side. Looks like they're going to begin slowly laying siege to this blockhouse. And 4 Culverin coming out now for Prop. We take a look at Prop and we see 4 Culves. So, I don't know if they blank fired what happened there, but he did only take out a single... Gatling gun, and now the first Culve going down and the second Culve going down for Mashed Potato. Mashed Potato losing all of his Culves. We did see that they were trying to back out, so not sure if they were bugged or backing, but nonetheless, you know, they're Culverins, and Culverin are just the stupidest fucking units in the game. I hate Culverin with a passion, because it's like, you know, they're the most important units to micro, and they're also the unit that is most stupid. So it's a little bit frustrating to sort of to deal with Culverin like that. We now take a look. The heavy Gatling guns are going to be moving up. So he's now sieging with Opronix. So the outposts do half damage against Opronix, which is why they're sort of taking a little bit longer just to get through these outposts than normal. But I guess they've got 4,300 health, so it's understandable. But now, got to be careful with these Gatling guns. These Gatling guns are going to be looking like they're in a bad position here. I don't know whether he can get through these trees. It doesn't really look like there's a path through there, but managing to find his way around. There is a gate that's open. It looks like one Gatling gun is kind of going to get stuck there in a bad position. I don't know what's happened. This Gatling gun's just decided he doesn't know where he's going, what he's doing. He's just lost. I think that Mashed Potato's running from these Culves, because we see these Culves over here, but there's really nowhere that he can go through here. This is kind of dangerous. Potential pops that could happen. And we've got a Culve now coming out for Mashed Potato himself. So Prop unpacking that Culverin. Gatling guns over on the right-hand side of the map. Gatling guns are going to be in a great position to take out these veteran cavalry archers. I just love this. Like, being so close to the walls, there's really not a lot that Mashed Potato can, or that Prop can do. And now dropping out another covered wagon. A second covered wagon on top of it. So just being really cheeky. That's the first town center, the second. So now he's going to have a total of 4 town centers for Mashed Potato. So 4 town centers that are going up, sitting on 62 villages at the moment. Cossacks coming in behind. He's got to be careful. He's going to lose his heavy Gatling guns unless he gets inside. Dropping down a second and a third gate. It's so cute. It's just like... But he's getting sandwiched in there. He's kind of sandwiched himself in too close to the... to everything here, but having 2 Gatling guns that remain now. And Gatling guns taking down some of the Strelitz that are here. We've still got this Culverin that's firing. The Culverin is actually still firing on the enemy Culverins. So he's had that many Culverins to get through that these Culves are really just taking their time. More Culves now popping out as well. We take a look and see what they are going to be doing. First Culve going down, and the second Culve probably going to be going down very shortly after. So Mashed Potato, despite, you know, being behind, what is it? Despite being behind 40 villages, despite being behind, you know, a lot of resources right now, is still somehow holding on by the skin of his teeth with nothing but culverin, Gatling guns, outposts, and walls. That is his dream. So finally, you know, we see those Gatlings going down after so damn long, but I'm sure that there's going to be more Gatlings, and now sending from the home city the 2 covered wagons. I don't know if that's necessarily the best choice in this position. I feel like with the covered wagons, like they might be reasonable to send. I mean, I guess you got 4 town centers already, so it's probably not a bad idea. It was actually cancelled and now changing it up to coffee mill guns. I don't know if I agree with this. See, one of the things about Gatling guns is Gatling guns aren't the best units, and so coffee gun isn't the best upgrade, if we think about it like that. I've always found with Gatling guns and like with the coffee mill guns, they don't seem that effective. We've got a bit of a raid now coming down towards the south as well. A couple Strelets moving in, so I wouldn't be surprised to see this walled up probably within the next minute or two. We've now got howitzers as well, pushing down from the north. Now, this is a decent amount of howitzers. This is exactly what you need. You need 5 howitzers. You need to just be sitting here with howitzers. You know, to be honest, I wouldn't mind seeing petards either. Petards in this position would be really good in combination with howitzers. You know, focus down the state capitals so that he can't be building the outposts or rebuilding them. You know, focus down the artillery foundry. Really just go for mass siege, because at this point, your opponent's not even making military. It's 166 population versus 115. All he's got is artillery, actually. I take it back. 4 Culverin Royale, 5 Gatling guns, and sending in Springfield Armory now. So Springfield Armory probably to get the upgrades for... What is it? You've got the speed as well as the health that you can get. Now we've got some outpost wagons as well being created. So we spoke about this just a little bit early. And now we've got some of the howitzers that are somewhat out of position. Gatling guns moving into position to take them out, but just not really doing a lot of damage. Gatlings are just really... I guess they've got that 50% bonus against artillery. Looks like most of the howitzers are going to be going down not in the best position. But now we've got 3 culverins coming out, all focusing down the middle Gatling gun. We've got 2 culvs on the back line. They try their best, but they don't get enough damage in. It looks like they're going to get their second volley, but a beautiful volley coming in now from Prop. Prop doing really, really well with the micro, hitting every single one of those Gatling guns perfectly. Really nice micro from Prop. Absolutely impressive stuff. And despite this micro, we've still got this coming down on the back line. So we've got 72 villagers now up against the 98 of Prop. Finally, all of those calves do go down, but what an amazing fucking micro display right there from Prop. That was beautiful. All 3 culverins targeting 3 different Gatlings, taking all 3 of them out. So I think at this point, what I'd like to be seeing is just like more Opernix. And literally, as I say that, double stable getting dropped down. I want to see like Opernix over here. I want to see Opernix down here. Because even if you just send 2 Opernix, those are Opernix your opponent is going to have to deal with at some point. So you get Opernix out, and then it's going to be okay. Now, Prop is still up 8k score, so still ahead by a mile. A huge amount of resources that are just sitting here. We can see he's getting his upgrade, but not really training any units at this point. So I don't know whether he's got plans to go Imperial or something like that, or maybe just not confident or not happy to... Because very easily you could make, 80 Strelets right now. But why? Why would you make 80 Strelets right now? You're literally just going to lose all of them. You lose all those resources. So he needs to be, sourcing siege from somewhere. Whether that is halberdiers, whether that's musketeers, whether that is... Oh, we actually see guard muskets coming in now, as well as guard Cossacks. I'd love to see the Opernix coming in, so guard Opernix is what I'd like to be seeing, and really just putting this in. But I feel like it might even be a little bit too late. I'm starting to think that Mashed Potato is starting to stabilize. He's up to 79 villages at this point, getting a lot of walls up. Now, these walls aren't the strongest. United States walls are about 2,000 hit points weaker than other civilizations' walls. And so they are not the strongest walls. They don't have access to Bastion or anything like that. We see a United States flag on the ground right now. Very, very sad. His opponent with the blockhouses, though, just sitting very dominant. This coin mine in the middle, still got a reasonable amount of coin on it. Potentially going to be looking to move up there after exhausting this one. Still 9 idols. Both players having quite a few idols this game. I think because it's just really not it's not a standard game. It's one of those games where it's like, you've just got... You've got action everywhere, so it's understandable. And now we've got some petards coming in. Also got professional gunners coming in from the arsenal. So I think we've got Springfield Armory in. We do have Springfield Armory coming in now as well. And now we've got the Opernix. So guard Opernix finally coming out. 92 siege on each of these. So there's 10 of these And these have got bonuses against artillery as well. So very, very effective against the composition of Mashed Potato. But Mashed Potato now just running behind his walls and really not bothering too much about the Opronix. I don't think he's actually going to end up losing he didn't lose a single Gatling gun. It sits very, very nicely behind his wall. So plenty of Opronix now coming out. So 15 Opronix in total. These Opronix are quite tanky, 362 health. So not too bad at all. He's also getting the Cavalry Cuirass upgrade, which is going to be giving them even more health. We take a look at his deck. We can see that he's actually sent Cav Combat in from the home city. He also gets Boyars, which upgrades the Opronix. Also gets access to Team Cavalry Scouts, which increases it a further 10%. So you can really buff these Opronix up. Now, I don't know whether I'm pronouncing that correctly. So if on YouTube you're about to type in the comments, it's not Opronich, it's Opronic or something like that, just remember that's how I've been pronouncing it since I was like 15 years old. And it was a long time ago. And we're here now. And that's it. And now we've got the Culves. The Culves tried to get a shot off onto the fortified blockhouse, but they would have been able to take it out. Only 255 health, but never mind. They take it out right there anyway. So we've now got some Culve, a little bit of a Culve battle on the back line. I think these Culves are relatively even with the exception of some nice micro coming out from Prop. And by the same token, some nice micro coming out from Mashed Potato. The Culve micro has really been quite on point this game. But it looks like Mashed Potato is going to be losing the Culve War. Despite that, having the fortified outpost just sitting here focusing down the respective Culverins. This is exactly what you love to see, really. I mean, he's got a bit of useless stuff around here. Like, if I was going to say, I would be deleting this blockhouse back here. I'd probably be deleting this outpost. I'd be moving them up like this. I'd want to get them up towards the front here. Now sending in that economic theory and stacking up a huge amount of resources. But I feel like at this point, Prop might have just given up. I don't know if given up is the right term, but you know, Strelets aren't going to do anything here, and he knows that. So he's doing his best to sort of mine coin. And he's spending it right now. Like you can see, he's got 4 stables that he's putting up, Opronix through at the moment. But the issue is that, you know, he doesn't have the coin to be generating all of these howitzers. So despite, you know, this game is we're now into the 37th minute of this game, and still Mashed Potato is behind quite decently in score, down 11k, despite sending big scorecards like heavy fortifications, and still able to keep ahead. Now beginning to train some Culverin Royales, getting homesteading upgrades. So we've got the plantations, we've got the estates down here to the south. So quite a decent economy. Actually, Mashed Potato reaching 97 villages, so pretty much max out. And now we've got Quaker guns in queue. Quaker guns come through from, not Moultrie's Militia, from Marion's Diversions. Also increases the speed of artillery by 5%. So that is, that's curious to see. Where are those Quaker guns? I'm curious. Oh, down here. These are the Quaker guns. So we can see how fast these Quaker guns are. They're much faster than normal artillery. He's got them sitting as Culverin at the moment. I'm suspecting he'll probably change them over to howitzers or something like that after. And we've got this fight. We've got the classic Opronic versus Gatling gun fight. You love to see it. You really do. But on the front line, even though we've got howitzers right here, Mashed Potato is just putting down more fortified buildings right in front of Prop and saying, come on, you want to do it? I challenge you. A nice composition now coming out from Prop. Take a look at the amount of Culverins that we've got here. So 5 Culverin coming out, and I think at this point the question is, honestly, I don't think at this point Prop can win. I feel like at this point Prop has waited too long. Well, I say waited too long, but what could he have done? What could have he done to win? I mean, I guess go age 4 and get mortars faster. Maybe that's exactly what you got to do against strategies like this, because this is pretty damn lame when it comes to like what you do. But now we've got a whole bunch of Opronix coming out as well. Still got those five Culverin in queue. A shitload of mortars, man. This is 5 howitzers right now, and he's just lost a whole bunch as well. We've got a bunch of villagers that are on the front line. These villagers are all going to be going down, but Mashed Potato does pull them back. That's 24 villagers now. Dropping down some walls over here to the right-hand side as well. Gatling guns on the front. We've got heavy cannons. Oh no, these are Quaker guns. These are the Quaker guns. They look like heavies. You can see they've kind of warded off the Strelets, I think. Obviously, there's Gatling guns here, but I suspect it probably would have been the heavy cannons that warded him off. So it's definitely... I feel like at this point, Mashed Potato needs to be like dropping or deleting these outposts and like building them up here. Like just build them in your opponent's base. Like what's he gonna do? And now we've got a huge massive Culverin over on the side. What are you doing with your Culverins there, Mashed Potato? Get it together, Mashed Potato. Wake up, Mashed Potato. Not like this, Mashed Potato. losing a whole bunch of culverins on the front line. The culverins just still marching in with just absolute tenacity, I guess is probably the right word, but they're just doing the 360 trick shots now. And now we've got more outpost wagons beginning to go down. We've got a fortified blockhouse on the front as well. Fortified blockhouse is going to be able to protect these villages, keep them safe. He's losing villages at the moment. I don't think he really cares. He's only lost 5 villages, about 5% of his economy at the moment. Not a big deal. He's got these heavy Gatling guns out. The heavy Gatling guns are going to be taking down the culverins on the back. He's still got 2 culverins up, so, and then a third one coming in as well. This blockhouse hasn't been built, but we've got more outposts going down, and we see another fortified blockhouse, so finally beginning to push up and dropping down walls as well. This is... All right. I know that there's a bit of a joke about, you know, walls being toxic or FFs being toxic. Is this toxic? Is this, is this one of the most toxic things you've ever seen? Because I'm starting to feel like it probably could be. This is like... Literally, all we've seen this game, he has only made artillery. He has literally only made artillery, walls, outposts. That's it. Artillery, walls, outpost, and walls. Like, that is... And he's pushing him back now. Like, I'm looking at this, and I'm at this point, I'm like, okay, we look what he's making. It's like, at this point, I'm pretty confident to say this is probably the most toxic thing I've seen in the Definitive Edition so far. And I played Sweden before it was nerfed. I mean, I guess there's also, like, the fact that this is the United States, and the United States, you know, they're not the strongest civilization, so it's kind of nice that they can have something toxic like this that they can fall back on. But, I mean, his opponent is literally making, like, only siege units. Like, literally guard operanicks, howitzers. We haven't actually seen any halberdiers out yet, but we actually see that Mashed Potato are going to be looking to get the upgrades now for his State Militia. Does he have anything else that he can be sending from the home city? I mean, he can be sending refrigeration. He could be sending Pulaski's Legion. So maybe he's actually going to make that. Have a look how many carbine cavalry he can send. He could send 17 carbine cavalry. Sorry, 18 carbine cavalry for 500 wood from his home city. So this shipment, the way that it works is every shipment you've sent before it gives you an extra carbine cavalry. So that's 18 carbine cavalry. That's like 18 dragoons. I mean, they're 18 like shitty dragoons. We've got some petards in training right now as well. Petards getting trained up over on the south of the map. Looks like the blockhouse over here is still not getting built over for prop. So petards are, it's essentially like an artillery on the game. And now we've got these are real heavy cannons. He's actually training real heavy cannons now. So none of those Quaker guns. I did like the use of Quaker guns, even though it was very subtle. It was like there wasn't a lot of Quaker guns. I'm curious, what's the population cost of Quaker guns? I don't think there's any of them out at the moment. Very nice, cute little mortar here as well. We'll take a look. I want to see line of sight. What's line of sight like for him? It's not too bad. We'll take a look at prop. Yeah, prop's got a lot of line of sight as well, but I feel like in prop's perspective, prop can go Imperial right now. Why isn't prop going Imperial? Is prop not watching right now? What's going on, prop? What are you doing, mate? Like, at this point, prop should be going Imperial, but to be honest, I think that prop probably knows the game is over because he just can't break through this. We've got a whole bunch of outposts that, like, these outposts are just really not doing anything at this point. We've got 3 more culverins that are coming out. We've also got these Quaker guns train really quickly. Where did that Quaker gun go? There's somewhere, yeah, here. These Quaker guns train very, very quickly. That's going to be like, you know, 4 or 5 seconds that it takes to train that. We're going to speed it up a little bit here because there's a little bit of lull in the action right now. But just as I say that, we've got some culverins now moving out to take out the culverins of prop. And look at all of these disgusting Gatling guns sitting here. Looks like, how did these units get to here? Gatling guns now, taking out the ranged cavalry units. And from here, we've got the heavy cannons on the back line. Oh, is there a hole in that wall? I think there might be a hole in that wall right there. So, Mashed Potato not doing the best at walling when it comes to this. Still looking like he's holding on. Got the outpost down here to the south, which is providing line of sight as well as just sort of holding back his opponent's units. I do like that. It's going to be really good to stop. Even like 5 Opernicks come down here. It's just going to buy him time. And so that's really smart. Now more heavy cannons coming out for Mashed Potato. Mashed Potato looking like is in a pretty good position from this point. And I guess he's not in a position to go up to Imperial. We take a look. So, okay. We've actually got prop now finally going up to Imperial. And he's still miles ahead in score. He's up 13k at this point. He's got big economy cards that he's sent in. He's sent refrigeration. He's sent economic theory. So he's quite ahead when it comes to economy and picking off with culverins the heavy cannons of his opponent. And Mashed Potato still just making Gatling guns into this. Like, this is just... look at all the arsenal upgrades as well. So sending through that Springfield Armory finally. Getting all those upgrades. So I'd love to see just like... he's at 180 population. What units does he have right now? He's got 14 heavy Gatling guns. 14 heavy Gatling guns, 2 heavy cannons, a Quaker gun. Does he have anything else out on the field? Like, is that literally it? Do you just have 14 Gatling guns? I guess he's got some Minutemen down here. Guard Minutemen. They got great stats on them, don't they? 260 HP. And now we've got a no, that's a Quaker gun. It's not even a real culverin. It's a fake culverin. That's all right, we'll speed it up a little bit. The howitzers are now moving to take out the first layer of the walls. And oh my god, look at all the Gatling guns. They just shred through the culverins, and now the push begins. This is the first time we've ever really seen Mashed Potato pushing out of his shell. And now the march of the outpost wagon begins. Look at the outpost wagons coming out from Mashed Potato. Mashed Potato is sending in the Pulaski's Legion as well. This is it. Mashed Potato actually going for the fucking throat right now. All of the Gatling guns finally pushing out. He's got heavy cannons back here as well. He needs to be pulling these up. And look at the outpost placement from Mashed Potato. He's saying, you know what? It's do or die right now. I don't know what he knows. Is it because his opponent hit Imperial Age? And that might be it. The opponent hit Imperial Age. He wants to probably hit the timing before the Imp upgrades are in. We'll take a look and see. We don't have any Imp upgrades just yet. A couple of heavy cannons on the backline bugging out. But now we've got Pulaski's Legion. 65 damage on these bad boys. They're in a bit of a good... They're in a perfect position to take out the 5 culverin that just popped out of the artillery foundry. The culverin are now going to get taken down completely by the Chapka Ulans that have come in from the Pulaski's Legion. And, like, there was nothing that he could have done about that. Those 5, they would have completely taken out all of this artillery in here. But nonetheless, the artillery just, like, somehow managed to sit in here. They're just taking down the howitzers slowly. There's just random outposts with 4,300 hit points that are here. And they start shelling the outposts. It's not even down to 50% health at this point. And now we've got Pulaski's Legion that I think they've decided they're going to just start sieging down an artillery foundry. Getting Minutemen called to the front line. Minutemen are going to be able to deal with these guard musketeers quite effectively. And just take a look at the amount of damage that these Gatlings are putting out. More Minutemen. Oh, he didn't send Minutemen. I think he sent, oh no, he hasn't done Culpeper Minutemen. I think he's just found these Minutemen. Never mind. I think these were the Minutemen from before. We've got Indiana mobilization coming in. 20 carbine cavalry coming in. So overpopping him just a little bit at the moment. I guess he's lost a few units. Sending through his Ulans into the base of his opponent. And I think at this point, your opponent, you know, the opponent hasn't walled. He doesn't know, like, he's completely lost this front. And despite, you know, being up a fair amount, having plenty of resources in the bank, he's kind of just lost all of his heart at this point. And that's it. GG gets called. Wow. What the fuck? What the fuck, man? This was an insane push from Mashed Potato. Literally, have you ever seen a Gatling gun outpost push? That was toxic. That was toxic. That was probably the most toxic game I've ever seen. Look at the resource gather difference. 84,000 versus 140,000. His opponent is literally gathering like 60k more res than him. The entire game outgathering him. Villager population. Look at the difference. I want to see the look at the military unit population. Oh my god. He's sitting on 8 military at 20 minutes. He's down at 8 military at 30 minutes. 4 military at 33 minutes. And he still wins. Alright, if you're not mad after that game, then, you know, you probably can't get mad. Favorite unit, 50 Gatling. Mashed Potato 72. How do you do it, man? How do you do it? That is disgusting.